I thought love was behind me, 10 years divorced, alone, numb, but then he knocked. A boy I once knew, now a man, with eyes that saw me, not the mother, not the neighbor, but the woman, the soul, the longing. At 55, I felt again, felt warmth, emotion, romance, felt alive in ways marriage never gave me. This isn't just a story about age, it's a story about truth, about rediscovering the heart you buried, about love that arrives when you least expect it and awakens everything you thought was gone. If you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever wondered if it's too late, this is for you. Subscribe for more real stories of love, longing, and awakening. Like if you've ever believed love can come back when everything seemed over. Let's dive into the unexpected truth of romance. That word echoed in my chest like a distant bell. I blinked, unsure if I'd heard him right. You want me to lead something. Daniel nodded slowly, deliberately. Yes, I want you to build something again. Not just maintain, not just support, create. I stared at him, my mind trying to catch up to this unexpected shift. The woman who had come into this office minutes ago had been bracing for retirement, maybe even a soft layoff. The woman sitting here now, she felt something stir inside her chest. Something warm, something alive. He leaned in slightly, elbows resting on his knees. Sarah, you know this company better than almost anyone. You've seen what works. You know people. You understand impact. We need more than the points and marketing fluff. We need someone who cares about this. Someone who actually wants to make it matter. The absurd part. He sounded genuine. No jargon. No performance review tone. Just this. Calm, serious young man speaking like this mattered to him. Like I mattered to him, he continued. I know it's a lot, and I'm not asking you to decide right now, but I wanted you to hear it from me before the board meetings begin, because if this becomes real, and I think it will, you'll be at the center of it. I sat back, stunned. For a few moments, the only sound was the city below. The muted chaos of taxis and voices, a world still turning. Inside the sleek walls of that office, time had stopped, me, at the center of something again. After all this time of fading into the background, I began slowly. I thought you saw me as one of the older generation, set in her ways. Daniel gave a small huff of laughter. I did, at first. Then more gently, but that was my mistake. Our eyes met. It was strange, that wordless moment, not romantic, not dramatic, but something profoundly human. I saw a file. He said quietly, about a food drive initiative you ran in 2009. You managed to get half the staff involved. The photos showed people smiling, genuinely smiling, not just for the camera. That's not just logistics, that's leadership and spirit, and we need that again. I swallowed hard. The weight of those years, those countless unnoticed efforts, they were seen, remembered, valued. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like a relic of a fading past. I felt like a woman who still had something to give. And someone was finally asking for it. He stood, and I followed. No handshake, no final declarations, just a quiet nod of respect from him. Take the weekend, he said as he opened the office door. Think about it. Let me know Monday. I walked back to my cubicle in a daze. Carol peeked over our shared divider, eyebrows raised. Well, she whispered. I gave a small smile, not fired. I said, her shoulders relaxed in relief, but maybe, I added, still processing, maybe I just got offered a future I didn't know was still on the table. Carol blinked. That's cryptic, but exciting. Yeah, I said, yeah, I think it is. That night I stayed late, long after most of the office had emptied out. The overhead lights buzzed. The silence was oddly comforting. I opened the archive folders, scanned old reports, found handwritten notes I'd forgotten I wrote. There was heart in these pages, and something I hadn't expected to find again. Me. Monday came. I wore a brighter blouse. Read, not to be loud, but to feel awake. At exactly 9:00 a.m., I knocked on Daniel's door. He looked up, smiled faintly. "Morning, Sarah." I stepped in. "I've thought about your proposal," I said. He stood attentive. "I'd like to be involved," I said clearly, my voice steady. "But not in the background, not just as a support. I want to lead." His smile widened, but he said nothing. He just nodded once, a quiet, confident yes. The next few weeks blurred into motion, meetings, presentations, strategy sessions, and with each passing day, the strange thing was, I felt younger, not in body, but in purpose. People began to stop by my desk more often, asking questions, seeking insight. The quiet woman in the navy blouse was no longer invisible. One afternoon, Daniel stopped by. No email, no calendar invite, just a light knock on the cubicle frame. "I thought you might want to see this," he said, handing me a draft proposal. The top corner read, "Community Revitalization Initiative led by Sarah T." I stared at it, breath catching slightly. "That's official now?" I asked. He grinned. "It will be after Friday. I'm presenting it to the board, with you as the face of it." The face of it. How strange, how beautiful, all those years, all that quiet effort, and now a new chapter. Not a second chance, a real one, a chance to matter again, to build again, to lead, not follow, to bring heart back into the work, and all because someone, unexpectedly, saw me. You never know when life will shift, when the tide will rise again. Sometimes it starts with a ping. Sometimes it begins with a door left slightly ajar. Sometimes it begins when you finally say yes. So, maybe love doesn't follow a plan. Maybe it doesn't care about age, past, or timelines. Maybe what you thought was the end was just the start of your emotional awakening. For me, it wasn't a fairy tale. It was raw. It was real. It was truth wrapped in young eyes and an old soul I didn't see coming. At 55, I didn't just feel romance. I remembered who I was before the silence, before the pain, before the world told me it was over. Love doesn't ask permission. It just knocks, and when it does, don't run. Don't hide behind the years. Let it in. Let it warm you. Let it rewrite the story. Because love, real love, doesn't age. If this touched your heart, like, subscribe, and share with someone who still believes in second chances. There's always more to come, and sometimes it's knocking.